St. Louis, are you kidding me? This was one of the best weekends that I think the Blues have played in forever. This team surprises me. They impress me. But most importantly, 2 hat tricks in the same game. Are you kidding me? This is the Blues hockey that I know and love. And I'm going to talk about why this weekend was as special as it was, coming up here in Locked On Blues.
You're Locked On Blues, your daily podcast on the St. Louis Blues. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome back to Locked On Blues. I am your host of Locked On Blues, Haley Taylor Simon here, a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. If you're listening on any different kind of podcasting streaming service, Sirius, or even my friends on YouTube, hello, and I hope you're doing well. This is probably the most excited I have ever been for an episode. I will dive into the game against the Avalanche. I will dive into that. I will talk about the game against the Coyotes, but I will also talk about my enthusiasm. And being a Blues fan right now, it is super exciting because I felt like this weekend really showed me that this team does have potential. On today's episode, I'm going to talk about the Blues' hat trick of a weekend. See what I did there? Is this team getting hot again? And looking ahead and being realistic, kind of grounding myself back to reality. But at the same time, we're going to have some fun today, you and I. So grab a snack and let's get ready just to talk some St. Louis Blues because that's the best way to start off your Monday, if I'm being honest. Today's episode is brought to you by Sleeper. Download the Sleeper app and use promo code Locked On NHL to get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Wow. This weekend, wow. Before I talk about the Avalanche game, I do want to talk about the game against the Coyotes. I know that game maybe wasn't as exciting, but it still ended up being a 2-1 win. And this was a game that I said was kind of a big test with the Blues. The Coyotes, I'll get into the Avalanche. The Coyotes are not the best team. They're not the worst team, but they're a good team. And, they beat us 6-2 last time we played them. So obviously this game definitely felt a little bit more pressure, especially that the Blues had a really good homestand. So you want to be able to go on the road and to be able to perform well. So I'm going to talk about the game and why I feel like this game was very crucial, despite the score not being as exciting as some of the other games. In the first period, with 2 minutes in, Oscar Sundqvist scored a goal, making it a 1-0 lead for the Blues. Unfortunately, towards the end of the first period, the Coyotes scored and they tied the game at 1 apiece. Second period, Robert Thomas got his 6th goal, the game-winning goal, and he made it 2-1 St. Louis. And Pavel Buchnevich and Torrey Krug, they both assisted on that one. And that was basically it. The Blues, they played some really good hockey. It wasn't, as I said, the best quote-unquote game. But this was huge because Robert Thomas obviously got the tie-breaking goal. And it resulted in a good win. Joel Hofer was in net that night, and he had 19 saves. And the Blue won the 3rd time in their last 4 games, okay? And I'm going to read you a quote from Robert Thomas that I pulled. Those guys have had our number lately, especially coming in here. I think we did a great job of limiting their offense, playing a smart game, especially in the 3rd period. I agree with RT. I think that the Blues did a really good job of limiting them. Justin Folk said, I think you guys know you're looking for a bounce or something, and you're trying to make that extra pass to kind of force it into, some sense. It's a tough stretch, obviously. We'll keep working on it. It's not we're going to stop to try to figure it out. Yeah, and that's basically talking about the power play. And the reason I wanted to read that quote is these guys are aware that their power play sucks, but I still feel like that's kind of like a weak answer. Like, I love Justin Folk. I'm not going to diss on him. But it's like there needs to be a change of the power play. So it is what it is. But I'm more interested in talking to my friends here on Locked On Blues about the game on Saturday night. The game against the Avalanche. What was the score of that game? It was 8-2. An 8-2 victory. A very Hattie victory. I don't know if that even sounded good. But let's talk, sit down. Let's talk about this game. I keep on saying sit down because I'm so excited. I just want to stand up and just bounce around. Ironically enough, Colorado did, when it came to the stats, they did better with the faceoffs. They only had a couple less shots on net than the Blues did. Blues had 42 and the Avs had 38. So that was saying something. But anywho, the first period, 1 minute in, Captain Brandon Shen scored and made it 1-0 for the Blues. Again, Brandon Shen made it 2-0 for the Blues after scoring with only a minute left of the first period. So it's 2-0, Blues on top, Shen with 2 goals. Remember that. Torrey Krug. Who? Exactly. Torrey Krug got his first goal of the season, making it 3-0 Blues with only 2 seconds remaining in that first period. I have to tell you, I was watching it. I remember my exact reaction. So I'm watching this. And basically, I'll run you down this whole sequence. The Avs, they took a shot on net, and I don't think Binner saw it. So he had his glove, but the puck was like to the left, and he had to just go over and grab it, but he didn't. So I was like, grab the puck. All of a sudden, he's able to take a stick, move it up a little bit, and then boom, the offense gets going, and it just was amazing. But I was really stressed because I thought the Avs were going to score, but it just happened that Torrey Krug ended up scoring. Torrey Krug. I've been saying his name a lot more lately, and I'm not upset about it. This is what we all needed from him. Finally. Anywho. Second period, and I'm going to, again, give you goal trackers, okay? Second period, about halfway through, Pavel Buchnevich gets his shorthanded goal, okay? So shorthandy, because they do better shorthanded than they do on the power play. So then it's 4-0 Blues. Unfortunately, the Avs score towards the end of the second period, and that's all there is. So it's 4-1 heading into the third period of play, okay? You're not going to believe this. Okay, so Bush just scored shorthanded. About 1 minute into the third period, he scores on the power play, giving the Blues a 5-1 lead, assisted by Robert Thomas with his 7th for the season and Captain Brandon Shen. About a minute after that, okay, so both of these guys, so both Shen and Bush, they both have 2 goals. A minute after Bush's goals, Shen gets a power play goal resulting in a hat trick, making it 6-1. Then Bush gets another shorthanded goal with 5 minutes remaining in the third period and gets himself a hat trick. And the cool thing about this goal by Bush is that all of his goals, he had a shorthandy, a power play, and then a shorthandy. Like, that's crazy. And then about a minute left, Alexei Torchenko was able to get a second goal this season, making it 8-1 Blues. And then with only 30 seconds left, Jack Johnson from the Avalanche was able to give the Avs another goal, making it an 8-2 game. Wow. Isn't that unbelievable, though, how this team seems to sometimes really struggle, but at the same time, they thrive? I don't understand the Blues sometimes, and I don't think I'm going to ever understand this team, but I'm going to talk about what this team means. Like, what does this all mean? Is this all in my head? Is this all a fantasy, or is this real? That's a song for those that don't know. But okay. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance, from superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guarantee Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time, or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the price that you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply, eBay guaranteed fit only, available to U.S. customers. All right. Fun. Is this team getting hot again? Is it getting hot? Are we getting hot? Yes, this team is getting hot again. It's hot in here, baby. The Blues. It's all about the Blues. No, I seriously cannot put into words how awesome this is for the Blues. It is such an honor, honestly, to be covering a team right now that is getting this hot. Okay, so while I did say that the Coyotes game is important, I did not have the Blues defeating the Avalanche, especially not an 8-2 victory. And what is my biggest takeaway from that? Well, my biggest takeaway would probably be that the Blues, they competed intensely, fiercely against one of the best teams in the NHL, a recent cup winning team, a team that is a cup contending team yet again. And the Blues were able to completely dominate them on home ice. I said this before, but sometimes when teams play teams that are not as good, they play down a little bit. And I don't think it's intentional. I don't think these players intentionally think, oh, I'm going to purposely not play well. But I do think it has a little bit of a different energy for those teams. So whenever you underestimate a team, that's when usually the worst possible outcome for your team happens, because underestimation never results well. You always got to play hard. And that's what the Blues have been doing. They've been playing super hard, regardless of their struggles, regardless of basically everything they've gone through this season. And I think that's one thing I really admire about how Craig Berube handles his team. He holds them to a standard, okay? He had a challenge this weekend. He had a big challenge with the 2 games. And, I think putting Hofer in net again against the Yotes was such a solid move. At first, I was kind of like, I don't know about this one. But again, it installs that confidence after that really tough loss that he had against him the first time. I think that I'm seeing a lot more out of Captain Brandon Shen than I have before, which is good. Robert Thomas, obviously, still my number one guy, day one, A1. But even guys like Torrey Krug, who are now accumulating assists and points and goals. Well, it was only 1 goal, but that to me shows something too. And even Kevin Hayes, I know this weekend he didn't really do much, but he has been more dominant on the ice, and it seems like he's getting more comfortable playing with this team. I think at the end of the day, the St. Louis Blues, they have a lot of work, okay? I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, they're going to win the cup. I mean, they could. But right now, Robert Thomas, he still holds when it comes to the Blues' points. He has 15 points, 6 goals, 9 assists, okay? You have Captain Brandon Shen with 9 points. Bushi, Cairo. Jordan Cairo. Oh, man. I mean, they have 7, and so does Sonny, but I'm not going to talk about negative things today. You know what? This is going to be a positive episode, okay? Anywho, you look at guys like that. You look at the team as a whole. This team is at least improving. 4th in the Central Division. Yeah. Is that great? I mean, it depends on how you look at it. I think that right now they have 15 points. Winnipeg has 16. Colorado has 16. And Dallas has 21. So what does that exactly tell me? It tells me that the Blues, they are realistically up there with contention. I mean, I always say this, and it's funny, but whenever you take a team to overtime, while some people do get frustrated about it, they're like, oh, well, you only got 1 out of 2 points. Every single point in the NHL counts. So for me, I'm happy with the Blues right now. I'm not going to say this team is a bad team, but I can say that when you have the players accumulating the energy that they do, and they really do feed off each other, this is a team that feeds off each other completely. And as soon as Shen got the team going, you could just see the fire on the ice. You saw the effort. You saw, following through with checks. You saw nice hits. You saw everything that had to be done. You saw good passing. You saw good shot attempts, actually, and not just stupid high and wide ones. You saw a lot of that on the ice. But most importantly, these guys looked like they were having fun. And I'm so sick. I'm never going to compare any other Blues team to the cup winning team. This is a whole different team, different players. And even though some of them are the same, at the end of the day, you can't live in the past. And I think right now, I don't know what Berube's telling these guys, but they look like a whole different team than I saw maybe a week ago. This team frustrates me. As I said, it's going to be a bumpy season, but it's a team that I know you love and I love. So looking ahead, what exactly should we be looking forward to St. Louis Blues? I'm going to tell you about my friends over at Sleeper. A new NHL season brings all sorts of possibilities. Brandon Chen could score 50 goals, and the St. Louis Blues could hoist the Stanley Cup. And you can win big by playing daily fantasy hockey on Sleeper, the official daily fantasy app of the Locked On NHL Network. Sleeper is our number one choice for daily fantasy sports, and especially daily fantasy hockey, because with Sleeper, you can win 100 times your cash in daily fantasy hockey contests. And this is where you could even bet if a player gets a hat trick, okay? Maybe Buchnevich and Shenny do it again. Shen's already had 4 in his career. Let's make it 5, okay? But all you have to do is pick whether guys like Pavel Buchnevich, Brandon Shen, Robert Thomas, Oscar Sundqvist will record more or less than their sleeper projections for things like goals, assists, saves, plus minuses, and more. So if you want to win a $100 bet on Sleeper, you need to correctly predict the outcome of 8 player stats. You heard me, Blues fans. You can win 100 times your money playing daily fantasy hockey with Sleeper. So start paying attention and nail your picks so we can start you winning big. Use promo code LOCKEDONNHL and you will get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. That's code LOCKEDONNHL. See Sleeper's terms of use for details and locational availability. Looking ahead. Let's look ahead. Let's talk about what this team is. What did I see this weekend? Usually they play really well on weekends. That's a pattern with the Blues that I've noticed. They get me all excited, and during the week, I'm like, okay, cool. That's, this is the Blues hockey that I'm used to. But anywho, Blues play tomorrow night against the Lightning. They host the Lightning, actually. So the Tampa Bay Lightning, interesting team this season. The Lightning are actually not doing as well. I mean, while they have 16 points, they are 5th in the Atlantic Division. Tough division. I mean, the Bruins are on top of that division with 24 points. So it's kind of like how the Stars are in our division. But the Lightning are definitely a tough team. So I think this is going to be a real challenge for the Blues. But maybe coming off of that game against Colorado, it gives the top guys some more momentum. And they'll be playing in front of the best fans in the planet here at Enterprise. So hoping for a dub out of that one. Then on Thursday, the Blues head out to play the San Jose Sharks. The Sharks have now won a couple games, okay? So again, Blues going to take this game seriously. I do predict that Joel Hofer will be in net for that game. And the Blues have like their West Coast-ish trip. So then I say ish, I mean it is. Then they head out to play the Kings on next Saturday, the Ducks next Sunday, and then again the Coyotes on Wednesday. Why do I feel like they've been playing the Coyotes like an insane amount? I'm so excited because it will be the Battle of the Shen Brothers on Friday the 24th. So, Luke Shen, welcome to St. Louis. But that's kind of a look ahead. So, do I think that these games are potential wins for the Blues? Yes. I think the Blues actually have a good chance of winning majority of these games. While I do think that some of it will be challenging, especially going against teams like the Lightning, even the Kings, I do believe, and even, the Ducks, because the Ducks are a weird team. While they're not the best team, They have been getting a little hot lately, so I wouldn't count out the Ducks necessarily. I wouldn't count out any team. I think if you're going in with the mentality of, oh, well, this team sucks, so there's no way they could win, that's a really bad mindset to have. Every single team in the NHL you need to take seriously. Some of these games, yes, you can say, you know what, this is not as strong as a team. We need a rest spinner. Let's start Hofer. Fine. I accept that. I understand that. But I just don't think going in with the mentality of, oh, well, this team isn't good, so it's going to be an easy win isn't a good one. I think that the Blues are a kind of team where they need that pressure on them. They perform a lot better when they have kind of that pressure that, how are they actually playing? It's one of those things. It's funny. And I was actually, when I was watching the Colorado game, I was thinking about this. They looked so much more dominant, so much more focused, and so much faster on the ice than they did against the Coyotes. And I truly believe it's because they had more pressure going against the Avalanche. So I wish the guys, and I don't know what exactly went into them playing that much better. It may not be true, okay? They might have just had a better game. But they need to play that way against even some of the worser teams in the NHL. I mean, you think about the San Jose Sharks, the Canucks, yes, Vancouver defeated them like 10-1. And you might be thinking, Haley, isn't that kind of like mean to beat a team by that much? No, that's called being a competitor. You don't give any sympathy for your other teams. And the Penguins did the same thing the next night, defeating them like 10-2. So the Blues, if you're like even last night, like an 8-2 win, that's a huge win, okay? So I don't feel bad for teams whatsoever. Get as many goals as you possibly can because you never know. There's always a thing called a comeback, and it's been done before. I mean, maybe not with like a minute left, but it's definitely been done before where a team's up big and then it just crumbles down. So I think that's one thing the Blues need to do is play consistent, especially play that third period hard. I know a lot of the guys on the team were saying that, they could see their second period needing some more effort and energy. And that's been a consistent thing that they've been saying. While I agree, I'm glad they're acknowledging it. But I just want the Blues to have consistent effort. Don't be stupid either with your energy levels. For instance, if you're putting in all this effort in the first period and it just quickly goes away, balance it out. It's okay. Sometimes slow and steady wins the race with a lot of hits along the way. All right, St. Louis, today was a fun episode. If my hair didn't look so bad, I would throw my hat at the camera, but my hair looks kind of like a mess. So I'm going to wear my hat, but I'll like fake throw it for the fake hat tricks they're real hat tricks, but okay. Anyways, let's go Blues. Bye.